Welcome, everyone, to today's explainer. If you've ever hit the snooze button like 3 times just to avoid facing the day, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Because the concepts we're unpacking today, they're literally life-changing. We're going to look at the actual blueprint of mental toughness, and we'll explore how we can systematically transform our daily, grinding stress into an unbreakable, resilient mindset. Okay, let's dive into this.
So why is it so incredibly hard for us to just sit still? Seriously, just for a few minutes, without instantly reaching for our smartphones to scroll through a feed. It's a wildly relatable modern problem, isn't it? The source material we're looking at today points out something really profound right out of the gate. The people who truly thrive in life are the ones willing to do the hard things that literally no one else wants to do. And honestly, sometimes the absolute hardest thing of all is simply sitting with our own thoughts.
Section 1, the value of hard things and the cost of avoiding discomfort. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is
How it perfectly captures our lives. I mean, we all have these grand expectations, right? We want to succeed, we want to thrive, we want to build a legacy. But then, look at our actual reality. Most people actively avoid difficult tasks. We'll skip the heaviest, hardest sets in the gym, or we completely refuse to sit down and meditate, not because we physically can't, but because of the limiting stories we constantly tell ourselves. We're distracted by our screens, dodging hard work, and completely unable to sit still. The stark truth highlighted in our source is that if you actually have a real fire in your heart to achieve something great, it's going to take way, way more effort than people like to admit. It requires a lot more than just talking about it.
In bridging that gap, it really comes down to mastering one absolutely crucial concept: delayed gratification. People who believe they just can't do the hard, necessary things in the moment usually don't value delayed gratification. Valuing your long-term success means you have to endure the days when you're just feeling completely down. Because make no mistake, there will definitely be days when you're down. Pushing through those difficult moments rather than giving in to that immediate, comfortable urge to just quit is mandatory. It's non-negotiable for success.
this brings us to a massive mindset shift. Section 2, mastering your self-narrative. It's an inside job.
Think about the external chaos of everyday life, energetic, screaming kids, banging and breaking stuff. It is completely natural to feel irritated. But as our source brilliantly points out, if my wife is irritating, there's nothing to do with her and everything to do with the way my body is sensing. Look, I want to validate your exhaustion here. Daily life is tiring, and yes, there are days when things legitimately bug you, but we need to execute a hard pivot in our thinking right now. Feeling bugged is almost entirely about the self-narrative you're spinning in your own head. It's about how you're choosing to perceive the situation, not the people around you who are just living their lives.
So, I want you to ask yourself, do you deal with inconvenient, stressful situations gracefully, or do you just snap when someone spills their juice? It is really, really hard to be a champion lifter in the gym, give your absolute best at your job, be a romantic spouse, and be the fun dad jumping and playing on the floor without losing your mind. None of that happens by accident. It requires incredibly mindful effort and consistent practice.
Which leads us directly into Section 3, committing to daily struggle to build the mindset. So the crucial point is that to pull this off, we have to intentionally create a daily routine that gives us a chance to struggle. By doing this, you're essentially working out your mind. You're training yourself to show up with a strong mindset, ready to resist temptations, ignore distractions, and actually be fully present. In practice, it sounds a lot like this internal dialogue from our source. I consciously say to myself that I must not be stressed and must not show it. It's a deliberate choice you make before you even turn the doorknob to your house. You're committing to leaving work-related stress behind, to being fully engaged, listening, and playing with your family instead of being mentally checked out. But let's be real for a second. It's not easy. Let's slow down and acknowledge that super annoying inner voice. I'm tired. I don't want to go. I'm hungry. There are lots of other places to be than going to the gym, right? We all hear it. These are the very real, very human excuses that pop up when it's time to do a hard workout or step into a challenging situation. So, how do we beat that voice? Well, we actively combat those lazy excuses by taking a deep dive right into our own minds and firing back with powerful questions. Question 1, who do I have to become? What is the standard I'm setting for myself today? Keep the momentum going with question 2. Who am I impacting? How am I actually helping others in the world? Thinking about the people relying on you serves as immediate, high-octane fuel to get up and totally crush that workout. And then the final, ultimate question, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Connecting with your deepest, foundational why provides the undeniable energy you need to push right through the hunger, the tiredness, and the exhaustion. It's the ultimate antidote to your excuses. Section 4. Confronting your self-doubt by recontextualizing the past. And this brilliantly illustrates the psychological framework of where our deep-seated self-doubt actually comes from. Because once you start asking those deep questions, you inevitably hit your own doubts. The source outlines 4 incredibly practical mental steps to unpack this. First, explore the doubt. Why is it there? Second, realize that it's probably just an inherited story, a belief cast on you by your parents or someone from your past. Third, forgive the people who planted it. And fourth, and this is where the magic happens, express legitimate gratitude. Thank them. By thanking your past, you use that old doubt as fuel, making yourself infinitely more resilient to the stress you're facing today. Which brings us to this profound, undeniable truth. If there's something that's hard in your life now, it's because you need to grow. Hardship isn't a punishment, it's an invitation. This means we shouldn't just sit around and wait for hard things to happen to us. We must intentionally try to bring challenging things into our lives to force that necessary growth. Section 5. Embracing intentional hardship. Let's move to and see how this builds into what I like to call the why not crescendo. This is a rapid-fire series of intentional, daily habits you can start right now to build that resilient architecture in your mind. Challenge number 1. Why not do some meditation at night before sleeping? Seriously, why not challenge yourself to end your day with intentional stillness, mastering your mind, before you even try to rest? Challenge number 2, why not daily try to write down your thoughts and journal your experiences? Get that internal noise out of your head and onto paper, where you can clearly see it and process it. Challenge number 3, why not spend quality time with your wife and kids, even though you are completely exhausted? Push through that fatigue to talk, be present, and play, even when you're hard-pressed for time. Challenge number 4, why not do workouts daily? Remember, the physical struggle of the gym is exactly what provides the mental strength and positive fuel you need to take on the rest of your day with absolute confidence. And the final challenge, why not do intermittent fasting? Fasting physically and mentally proves to yourself that you actually possess the iron will and self-control to stick to a demanding lifestyle. So I leave you with this final critical question. Will you continue to avoid discomfort, making excuses when things get hard? Or will you start using your daily struggles as the ultimate gym for your mind? The choice is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start doing the hard things today.